This time around, we're joined by Halifax's own Ghettosocks and Dk. We talk a bit about their initial musical influences, what they might have in store for us in the future, as well as a few things they love about music and the way it hits them. You know they let us hear a few of their sweet tunes as well. So sit back, sip your poison, and enjoy the ride. I'm Kalen Capson, and this is the Pagan Place Podcast. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So everybody's days going all right?
Yep, living, getting ready to take off tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Come down to St. John, get that popping.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm super stoked for that show. I've been wanting to do a good hip hop show in St. John for a while.
Hey, you ever played St. John before, DK?
No, never.
No?
I've only been to St. John maybe twice in my life.
Right on.
Yeah, so
it's a quaint little spot. It's not as bumping as Halifax, that's for sure.
It's pretty good. Where did I play there before? I forget the name of the place. Like pool tables, and I forget the name of it. It's kind of like all white and red painted inside or something. I don't know. I forget what it's called. It's right downtown. I forget what it's called. Played there before. What was it? Weak Size Fish. Yeah. Those guys, and pretty cool.
Oh, sweet. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago now. Maybe just pre-COVID.
I feel like everything was in that pre-COVID era.
Yeah.
You guys doing any touring or pumping a lot of shows out or working on the music?
I haven't really been touring much. Got a few shows coming up here and there. Some stuff with aquaculture. And I know DK's been working on a new record.
Yeah, I've been working on a new record. Well, I got the show coming up, obviously, and I think doing some beat sets, basically going into the summer locally, so that's kind of cool, and that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm always looking forward to hearing new track.
Yeah, I got a new record coming with produced by Chan Hayes, featuring Guilty Simpson and I doing like basically a split album. Guilty Simpson from Detroit, so that's in the final sort of mixing mastering process right now, so maybe it'll be out by the end of the year. Who knows?
Yeah,
I've been saying this for years now, talking about this project, but I don't know, it's finally coming out. So.
Well, even our record took like a while that was mostly because of COVID, though, just kind of shut down and stalled a lot of things. But yeah,
it really did.
It took like basically, I'd say over 2 years to put out, even though we had most of it done basically by 2020, early 2020, I'd say.
There's a lot of hang-ups, even post-COVID now, because everybody's trying to play catch-up, so everybody's trying to get stuff out, but that pushes everything else back. I have a couple guys that I know that are working on some stuff, and they're having a hard time getting just the records printed, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
They keep getting pushed back. And so, yeah, it makes sense. Yes. Everything's slowed down right now.
So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Probably in the fall, I figure things are going to pick up more in terms of scheduling stuff. But I just really kind of want to get more back into studio mode myself.
Yeah.
And then maybe pop out and do little one-off shows here and there, but see what happens.
What's your favorite part of music? Usually I start out with a question like, what do you love about music or something like that, but what's your favorite aspect to creating music?
Sense of creating something, completing something, you know, like having some like ideas come from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's just like one line, one phrase, or one like concept that evolves into like lyrics, or it spawns maybe like some production or something like that, like a direction, and then carrying it through and like watching it grow and develop into an actual tangible song that exists from just nothing, essentially.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool aspect of it too. Even seeing that stuff happen, I find pretty fascinating.
Yeah. And I mean, like, yeah, and even that's sort of more on the creation side, but on like ingesting it, I guess, it's just like being confronted with something like an idea and trying to like, you know, grapple with where the artist's coming from with it and how they put it together and all that stuff. It's like kind of like unwrapping a Kinder egg kinder surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely see
So-
that. What about you, DK?
Yeah, for me, I think it's just kind of like the feeling. For example, when I first started making beats and that type of thing, I used to sample like, a lot of records, and there's just something about the sound of like, discovering like basically a piece of like forgotten music and then just turn it into something completely new. So for me, like I just like that kind of feeling of digging and I guess nostalgia of like an old record and then trying to come up with something new. But nowadays, I guess I'm just kind of at the point where I've just made so many beats where, I don't really have to think about it. So now I'm more on the side of, how can I bring out a new sound in an artist, or how can I develop or, put forward an artist, or put to market an artist, or, what kind of cool collaborations can I start, that nobody's ever heard before.
On your production side of things, do you try to kind of put your own stamp on a sound, or do you kind of work towards adapting to what the artist is also delivering to you?
I'd say both.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, like I think that I have a sound and that's kind of like just a starting point, but obviously not every artist is going to sound the same. So, I'm flexible, but within that, like within a certain set of guidelines, or I still like have some guidelines and parameters that I still work into. Right.
Yeah. And how long have you guys been making music? I know, not necessarily just together, but in general. I know, DK, you and I have talked a little bit about it last time you were on the podcast. But Ghettosocks, like, when did you start ripping lyrics?
I started probably like late 90s, early 2000s, started like fumbling about, I guess. And then in early 2000s, like 2002, 2001 till 2003, sort of started making stuff on a very like bedroom level, like just sitting at my desk making music. And then in 2006, actually like went through the process of getting, getting a record mixed and mastered and put out on record and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a hot minute.
How old were
But
you?
yeah, I really, I don't know. I can't do that kind of math.
That's all right.
It's so I don't know, like about 20 years ago. So I was probably like around 20.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, late teens. But yeah, and then really since 2009 is when I feel like I've kind of got confident in what I've been making. I always feel like I'm, as an artist, like I'm never really satisfied with where I'm at. Like even the record, like even our record, DK's, listen to the masters. I feel like that's because it was in like a sort of like a suspended animation for so long that like I feel like I'm past it. I'm very much past that record, even though people are just sort of like interacting with it now. So yeah, even like the next record that I come out is like I'm already way past that too. So I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I just want to get back into like the actual creating mode.
Yeah.
And get into like a more of a regular rhythm after this sort of like disruption of time that we've all experienced.
DK, do you feel the kind of the same way?
Yeah, I think I started making music or started making a beat when I was like 20 or 21. I guess to answer the first part of the question, but yeah, like I'm basically finished like a new record that I'm essentially following up, listening to the masters with, and a lot of the beats on there are basically a year, if not 2 years old. So it's like kind of like, one of those things where it kind of feels old to me, but I've just played it for a few people and they, people are just saying right away that's like clearly my best work and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, always try to improve and, move forward and look for the next best thing.
Yeah.
Or look to make the next best thing, should I say.
Like you were saying a few minutes ago, just the whole slow down process of, taking 2 years to get an album out to everybody. It really has to gum up your process, like your writing process, because you got to take your time recording. It takes you longer to record it, hopefully play some shows with it, and it's a slow process.
Yeah, it's like, it was complicated tricky because I guess it was a gift and a curse, because we were just trying to record a lot of the project at our man DJ Uncle Fester's studio at the time. And just between the shutdowns, it's like we were just trying to meet, and then stuff would obviously close and then reopen, and that was frustrating and definitely delayed the process. But on the flip side of that, we also got some opportunities, like for example, getting the opportunity to get like CL Smooth on our record, which probably never would have happened otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, silver linings, I guess.
Yeah.
I chew all their asses. All them grandmasters and Europeans with their government subsidies and whatnot to sit on their asses and play all day, they ain't living in the world.
Yeah, shit's getting way out of hand. Corporations turn the forest to sand, while politicians reassure us that there's more to the plan. Fortune expands, body cams recording your fam. The trickle downs for less fortunate, man. Of course it's a scam. Support the troops and don't bother to question everybody's grandfather's a legend. Cops and objectors, the light of truth is shining off of reflectors, pointing shotties with the auto ejectors of the water protectors. Reporting live on Turtle Island, the verbally vibrant. Burst the verse and murder a tyrant. Wanna pin him down as a criminal off the song though. On kid around, they ripping minerals out the Congo. And to be honest, ain't a question of who's dishonest, who keeps the bombs and armored cars on the route to hardship. I'll be a nuisance, prove it's hard to shoot a moving target once the food we harvest stops moving through the supermarket.
Life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream.
Sweetest dreams, sleeping on thin frames. Vision ain't been the same. All out of line, but within reason like endgame. Dozed but been awake. Swole like Ving Rhames. Dreaming like that. The lullabies like a scene out of Strap. The cargo oversized. They need a seat in the back. They say you out on a dime if you be sleeping like that. You pay it, no, never mind. Like ain't no need to react. Cause dreaming don't be for everyone as much as it should be. They see you for who you are and what all that you could be. Tightrope line between being told all of it's a waste and becoming what you saw when you awake. When kicking back, reflecting all at the corner sing, and twin mattresses turn to a California king. Waking up and believing what you know, and swearing that it was real until it's easier to show. Do believe it, right?
In the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream.
Hey yo, $1 million dreams trying to bring them to fruition. Fuck wishing, I'm active with the scheme until we clicking. And everybody in the clique rich, living the vision. But I'm still throwing rocks at the prison. Shady dealings on both sides. The mission is to make the transition from crimes fiends that call all the time. Caltech nines, just on my mind of chilling in the fly pavilion. Cause the shit that I designed made a killing. Who you feeling, the hero or the villain? I respect the nigga that took a risk to go against the system. Life a bitch, I'ma stick my dick in. Fuck the world like it's a tradition. I rap like fresh at the chess table with the clock ticking. Nice enough to checkmate your king with a pawn. I pee on the shit you peons on. Spread the song from NYC to Hong Kong. Even when I'm gone, bury me with weed and Ralphie on. I'm a fucking don. Never been a minute thinker. My mind's wise enough to analyze the bigger picture. Plot like a rich
life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream, life in the game, the streets is moving combat. In a dream.
Last game here, I'm playing.
Kept the game going with myself for the last 20 years.
You're losing to yourself.
Not a day goes by, I don't make a
Life
life
a
on
bitch like that.
Not a day.
I kept the game going with myself.
How do you
for the
feel
last
you're
20 years.
heading stylistically? Like, do you think for each of you, is there a consistency in what we might see next, or is there going to be any kind of a shift or change in what you're doing?
I don't know. During that time, also like the past few years, I've done like a lot of collaborations, and like I did some stuff with like Pinion and Lobe and some artists out in Toronto and out in the UK that are kind of like stepped away from my intuition, I guess. Like even collaborating with DK was, you know, it's the first record that I've done. Well, like solo record that I've done really with a producer that's produced for me, like solely. Traditionally, like I've either done all the production myself, or like had an assortment of producers that I worked with that were kind of under my it was my curation type thing. So I've been relinquishing a lot of control these days, even with the Guilty Socks, Guilty Simpson, Chan doing all the beats. It's just been kind of me taking a step back. So I think moving forward, I'm going to be doing heading back more into curating my own sound and taking control of it. Again, this is kind of where I want to go. And in terms of stylistically, I don't know, it'll be an expansion and evolution of sound that I've been rocking with for a while. So it'll be definitely more broadened, sonically and that sort of thing, but conceptually kind of the same sort of direction, expect unexpected type thing. So
how about you, DK?
That's a good question. Every project I think that I've done, there's been some change in sound, and you could definitely, I think, hear the evolution. So I'm just going to keep on seeing where that brings me. Also, I'm just putting out basically another 3-part compilation album, and I'm just basically featuring artists that I like all over my beats. And, I'm just going to give back and give people a chance to kind of be heard, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Is that kind of in the vein of Expressions, or?
Yeah, exactly.
I dig that idea. It's almost like a mixtape, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like Soul Expressions, kind of what Ninth Wonder was doing, with the Wonder Years. You know what I mean? Where he just showcase tons of artists.
I remember, I think when I first started making beats, Marco Polo came up with a project, Port Authority, and that showcased a bunch of cool artists that I liked at the time. So I kind of like that concept, keep on doing it.
Do you feel where each of you have done so many collabs over the years, do you feel that influences your own style, your own sound, or where your sound might go? Or do you kind of cling to your roots?
I have my approach in terms of songwriting, lyrics and that sort of thing. Generally, if I'm going to be collaborating or featured on a song, is my approach is I just want to occupy the space that's not going to be taken up on the song. Right. You know what I mean? I want it where everybody zigs, I zag type thing. I want to stand out and bring it that way. So in a sense, collaborating's easier for me than coming up with doing the heavy lifting all myself for a solo joint. So yeah, it's good. It's good in a way because, I feel like there's more freedom on a collaboration. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's not all be out there, so it's usually I show up and the table's set and, the cutlery's out there and everything. And, I just have to contribute to the potluck, so to speak. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool because I get to sort of bring my updated, my latest version of what I'm doing to the table. And, it's just generally a quicker process in a sense.
Well, for each of you, what's your favorite piece of work to date?
D?
Yeah. Okay. I was just taking a second to think about it. I'll say listen to the masters that's released, but this new project that I have in the works, it's probably my favorite. Going to be my favorite once it's released.
Yeah, I'd have to say Treat of the Day is probably my best work, or the second, though we're going to drink a lot of wine this year too, is probably the best, just because it's so loose and fun. You know what I mean? I like fun music. You know what I mean? There's kind of a deficit of fun music these days, I find. I mean, there's fun music, but it's there's guilty pleasure stuff. So I'd say those two. I'd listen to the Bastards is up there for sure too, but I don't know. It's just how long it took to come out is definitely the cookies kind of got cold for me in a sense. But
that makes sense.
So it's it seems new to everybody, and for me it's just I have to, it's been a long time with the material, so it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that's true. That makes good sense. Yeah, it's interesting how that time changes the dynamic, because it's not like you've been the same kind of time put in where it's been out and you've been touring the shit out of it. It's just you've had it been in the works for so long. It's a little bit of a different different vibe.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic for sure.
What kind of shows do you guys have lined up? Or if you can even talk about them. I know sometimes people can't talk about it when it's too soon. DK and I have that show obviously coming up at Crave in St. John.
So that should be cool. And cool for me also just because there's a bunch of openers that I haven't met yet. So like, it's always nice to meet like up and coming artists and see what they're up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
See how they get down. Then I'm out in Newfoundland with Aquaculture.
Sweet.
He's playing the Lanya Vanya festivals, and I'm going to be backing him DJing and featuring on a couple joints live out there. And then I have a solo show out in St. John's as well on the 9th. And then in July, there's another gig that I have with Aquaculture. Him and I rapping together is Socks.
Okay.
And that's at the Marquee with this band Walrus. And yeah, so that should be pretty cool. It's going to be a big show. But other than that, yeah, it's like not tons and tons of stuff. It's just kind of like one here or there spread out a little bit. So as far as like a big like consecutive tour dates go, like I don't have any real like heavy touring lined up. It's just been, you know, between like DK's schedule and my schedule, and you know what I mean, like it's kind of hard to synchronize that. So that's what I'm thinking. Like if we're gonna be out there like pushing the record, we're gonna have to be like strategic and just like pop out, do like, you know, a weekend here, like a show here, like 2 shows back to back here and there, and then run back to Halifax type thing. So yeah,
that's a good thing about having Halifax be a little more central, you know, to most of the Maritimes anyway. It's equidistant to get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, there was a time where I was touring constantly. I think I was on the road like 8 out of 12 months, and just like constantly touring. And it's good for the optics and like getting out there and getting in front of people and like letting everybody know like that you're out there and making some noise and that sort of thing. But it definitely contributes to slowing down like the creation of new music. You know what I'm saying? So so that's kind of the other thing, is just like looking forward to getting back into making new music and you know, just like hunkering down. So
how do you feel about touring ultimately? So I feel like the more people I talk to post COVID, it's a lot of people aren't a fan of getting back on the road, or if they do, it's just because they feel obligated to, you know, spread their sound to other people. It's not a high point in what they're doing at all.
I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I'm down for it. I love to tour. I love to get out into like a rhythm of like traveling and doing shows and, you know, linking up with people and connecting and that sort of thing. Like, it's definitely something that I cherish. But I just, for me, like in terms of my like sort of my rhythm, you know what I mean, my creative rhythm right now, it's just like not a high priority for me. But I know for a fact that people are like hungry, you know, like audiences are hungry for shows. Absolutely. And like looking to get out there, and they want to be entertained and they want to fucking, you know, be inspired and that sort of thing, have a laugh, whatever. So that's what, you know, it's always a push and pull type thing there, you know. That's a force that's driving me back out into the world for sure. It's just like, I know that there's a desire and there's a demand for it. So, you know, I can't, like, I'm not trying to ignore it. I don't want to ignore it, you know what I mean? But I got to like still just like focus on what I need to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
And ultimately it'll lead to more touring and more good stuff, you know. It's just, you know, it's just being more selective about like how you go about doing it at this point, I feel. Yeah, definitely. There's also the danger of oversaturation, not like necessarily your material being oversaturation, but just because everybody, like you said, is so hungry to go see live shows. I've noticed a lot of live shows lately, and all things considered, that's a sweet problem to have. Like, I don't mind that problem of not being able to see everything, but people only have so much money, you know. Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things that happened in Halifax, I don't know if they did it in if it was like really a thing in St. John's so much, but like in Halifax last year, they had this thing called the Grand Oasis Stage. That was basically like a city partnered like event programming thing. So right in front of City Hall, they had like this big awesome stage that they set up, and it was just, you know, beautifully lit and like big like screens, and they called like the city's, like, I don't know, what is it, like the plant, like atrium or whatever the hell it's called. But they had like all these beautiful plants set up around the stage, and it was really cool. And they basically programmed like free events all like summer into the fall, and it was cool because like people got to go out and check out free shows. But it was kind of like, I felt like it was a little bit harmful to the scene, like to the local scene, like the bars and the venues that had been putting on shows and whatnot. It's like all of a sudden, you're not going to get like, Tribe Called Red or whatever. You're not, why would you pay, $25-30 to go see Tribe Called Red at a bar when you can go to see them for free? Kind of created a little bit of a vacuum there, like a little bit of a choke out. So I don't know, like the dynamics definitely been different in Halifax. Like we haven't been getting tons and tons of live shows. Definitely not like rap shows. I know who's coming. Dave East is coming out this way.
Yeah.
Marv One is going to be coming down at some point as well. I don't know what else is going on. I was talking to some of the guys. Tachichi's got a show. Yeah. I mean, like, so you got one local show. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's like local artists that are still doing their thing, like still putting on shows and whatnot. But now I'm talking about in terms of like touring acts and like, bigger name coming from out of town. It's kind of been a little bit dry here for that sort of thing. And it's just hard to figure out how to make it work at this point in time, like for a lot of promoters and whatnot. So I don't know, maybe that's going to change soon. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe in the fall, I'm anticipating there's going to be more, depending on how things are going, internationally in terms of, the health situation that we're dealing with here. But, I guess we'll just have to wait and see about that.
St. John's kind of going like that as well. We always had a main stage on our boardwalk, and they'd have local-ish acts there mostly, throughout the week, throughout the summer, and then just bring in bigger acts for like New Year's, Canada Day, have an outdoor live show. But now we've recently had called the Container Village. You guys will probably see it when you're here. And it's really cool. I love the idea of it. They have a stage in there. They do put on a number of free shows. But depending on how they manage it, and I don't really know what direction they're going to go yet, like you said, it could have the exact same effect that you were talking about with who's going to go pay a $20, go to a $20 bar show when you can go see another semi-big headliner or big headliner for free. I've been kind of worried about that and curious how it's going to go. Maybe they'll find a balance. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because it's still new.
Sitting in quarantine, my pen moving, rolling some green, thinking about my next move and what it mean. Pour it all on a blank canvas, watch it deliver. The artist that could bring it to life and paint that picture of a people growing through rough times with heavy hearts. We lost so many lives in this world that paid the cost. Save my prayers for the dead, keep my mind on this money. The sacrifice being safe for days warm and sunny. I'm seeing the bigger measures and precaution. For real, some people can't sit still. Some days you gotta force them, but my light shine brighter than those who don't cooperate. Some fast food that make you insecure. Underpopulated, attention span is thin. Nothing look attractive as the wind that separate the boys from the men. How smooth blazing in middle of a pandemic, can't let it stop what I'm doing so epic. The mass setter, the masters, put the shame in the crew that wants to build the flame. The masters dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this run is for the green jacket. I fit trendsetter. The masters put the shame in the crew that wants to build the flame. The masters dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this run is for the green jacket. I fit. Lost boys like the candelabra, elaborate pandas, black panthers, magical hammers, animated rabbits, tactical vans in Atlanta, contrast with ambulances, flash canvas, exact as Van Gogh imagined it. Counterfeit notes float like ghosts through the fortress, but rarely break the surface for air like a porpoise. Portraits lean against the floorboards, dwarfish as waves reach the shores of Corsica, bringing corpses. Leaves from palm trees provide shade. Pineapples dangle heavy like jaundiced grenades. Marmalade laid scented babes laying wait and sunbathe. Undertakers pray someday the babies will take up the game. The road not taking takes, machetes to navigate. The undergrowth is woven with vegetation and rattlesnakes. My fresh leather shields me from the sketch weather, while I bend letters in hopes in the end to be a trendsetter.
The master put the shame in the crew that wants to build the flame. The masters dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this one is for the green jacket. I fit trendsetter. The master put the shame in the crew that wants to build the flame. The masters dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this one is for the green jacket. I fit.
Styles upon trials, tribulation mild but potent for. Chances open doors, in stores, it's what we hoping for. Road trips, wire mics, stage smoking, crowd roar. Masters in our field, tracks killed, and fans wanting more. COVID bars, vocal charts, third rail electrify. Plan set aside, push releases back for better vibes. Set by circumstance, beat and rhyme dance, verbal chants, warmer than flash, and never say I can. Push along like tribe songs, I form and vibe certified. Live Jersey guy, more than fly, sure and fortified. The raw supply, kush scorching my eyes, masking my cries. Pandemic slashing many lives, triple time thoughts buzzing. Struggle to those who wasn't, many bugging, most hustling. Thievery and the thugging. We make the plug-in, outletted production, proper construction. We hide it even in utter destruction.
Trendsetter. The master put the shame in the crew that wants to build the flame. The masters dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this one is for the green jacket. I fit trendsetter. The master put the shame in the crew who wants to build the flame. The masters dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this one is for the green jacket. I fit. Dominate the microphone. Dominate the microphone. I dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. Dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this one is for the green jacket. I fit. Dominate the microphone. Dominate the microphone. I dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. Dominate the microphone. I speak the truth. The masters, this one is for the green jacket. I fit.
Welcome back to the Pagan place. Here, let me chop up that poison for you. No, you keep the tip. All we need is a little like and share. That'll do just fine. There you go. Have a good day.
The Moonlight Harvest. I don't know if you know about that event that you guys have out there.
Oh yeah, the Moonlight Bazaar.
Moonlight Bazaar, that's right, my bad. And shout outs to Expedite also, of 3 Sheet.
Yeah.
He put me on there. I came down with him and EMC and we rocked that, and rocked with Maestro Fresh West, and there was a drag troupe that was involved. It was that was a dope event for sure. And that was kind of like, that was kind of right on the tail, I feel like, of all the restrictions kind of lifting. Like, I think maybe New Brunswick was a little bit ahead of the curve there in terms of loosening up.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit crazy for me, like being out there, like in that intersection right in downtown St. John, and like a giant moon, feeling like you're 2 minutes from, like 2 milliseconds away from like the end of Melancholia, where worlds are colliding or whatever, and there's just like 6 zillion people around. It was just kind of overwhelming. I had my mask on and stuff.
It was a lot. I did not expect that many people to be going out, and then when I kind of got there, I was like, holy shit! And it's just sea of people.
But I like that event, and that's cool, and I think that there's definitely like people are getting more creative in terms of how do you put on events and be inclusive in terms of community and programming, and what's there culturally is really dope. So I'd like to see more of that sort of thing popping off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like the Grand Oasis stage here it was very cool too. It was just like so big that it was just like basically everybody's summer was spoken for. Like if you're around, it's like you don't even know to look up what's going on. You just could wander down there like 3 times a week, and there'd be something popping off, and it'd be like was kind of like just a thing that was happening. So it kind of like became this like all-encompassing, this blob of event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Engulfing everything. So
yeah, those things definitely can have a bit of a negative impact if there's not a balance that's found. Just harder for local venues to make money, like you said, if you can go to a free show and the venues right in that immediate area, you know, will make a little more money than other ones. And
maybe, you know, like that's not not guaranteed. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I think that it was partially because of the COVID thing. You know, like they were trying to figure out how to like keep things popping. You know what I mean, culturally in the city without like risking anybody's safety type thing. So the intent was definitely good. So
are you guys just staying in St. John for the one night and then peeling right back out?
Yeah, I'm going to be continuing onwards to Ottawa and then Toronto.
Oh shit!
And then
okay.
I think DK is going to be heading back.
Yeah, I'm heading back. Yeah.
Not the best time of year, but it is starting to be a fun time of year. You guys will have to come back and when summer's in full swing sometime. And
I'll definitely be down like later in June. For my guy Expedite's wedding. He's getting married, so I'll be back down there. I'll definitely be up there for a day or two for that. And, so what's new for you? What's coming up with you?
Right now we're just I just finished school for the years. Frank and I are trying to do the Pagan Rooster production stuff, and right now a goal is to have a show a month, and we're kind of building up to that. I think we did 5 over the last year, and they were all pretty good.
That's good.
So we're trying to get a little more. We want this blend of like, you know, super local shows, bringing in act. Done that a few times. We did it with Quinn from Fredericton. She put on a stellar show with Hinch, and then with you guys. So you're probably the farthest group that we've brought in yet. So it's everything we do at this point is just kind of like let's see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we're just kind of growing right now and seeing what we can do, what works, what sticks to the wall. What influences have you guys had on your art growing up that you feel like have stuck with you?
You want me to take this one? Feel this one?
Yeah, you started.
I'll feel this one? Yeah. I guess my parents used to play a lot of classic rock and roll and that type of thing in the house when we were younger, so, and in the car. I guess just being exposed to, objectively good music at a young age kind of definitely helped. Like, I guess what I mean by that is definitely helped, I guess, get my ear accustomed to like what quality music is, and you know, just having just kind of like a standard in my head of what what to aim for, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why it's called classic rock. I mean, people are still listening to the same era of like rock and roll for like years and years, and it's like still on the radio. So, I mean, I guess there's something to be said for that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And some of these groups in like the 60s and that are like still touring, which is baffling. Like 60s, 70s, 80s are like still touring, and you know, like you don't really see that in hip hop, which is I find interesting.
Yeah, for me, like film has always been like a big influence on my relationship with music, like stuff used in movies and scoring and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like in terms of, you know, pairing content with sound, you know what I mean? Like what, like in terms of like a subject matter, what accompanies it, like in terms of creating my vocabulary. That's always been a big influence for me. You know, like at a young age watching films and you know, the music that they would choose to accompany like what was happening in that scene. It almost sounds a little sociopathic now that I put it that way, but
no, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah, but no, it's something that I always kind of like. I've always maintained is just like this interest in music and film, and you know how all that sort of relates to cultural, you know, references, and then sort of like bringing that into my music. In a sense, you know, these tropes and cultural moments, you know, referring to that because it's like a unifying like symbolism there. So I use it as a tool, so to connect with people. So
what's the first first score that really hit you?
The first score? I don't know. I mean, like when I was young, I used to like Star Wars music, like John Williams, that stuff.
Yeah.
But then, big fan of like comedies in the 80s and stuff, like the Jerk soundtrack and what was the Gattaca soundtrack? Michael Nyman composed that, I should say. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's got a really beautiful soundtrack, a score to it. So I don't know. It's just there's so much stuff. It's like asking, well, what are your top 5? What are your favorite rappers dead or alive? What's your favorite album? I literally fucking despise those questions.
No, that's fair.
Or what's the other question? It's like, oh yeah, what if you could eat one food? Desert island. Like I just can't stand questions like that being painted. Expected to summarize myself in one stroke.
But I do think that's a fair answer too, because even myself and a lot of my friends that are musically inclined and into music have often said the same things. Like you mentioned the Star Wars soundtrack. It's this pairing of a moment with the sound to invoke an emotional state.
Yeah.
And whether you realize that's what's happening as a kid or not, that is what's happening. And then as you get older, like even movies like, I don't know, Braveheart or Gladiator. Like
Gladiator, yeah.
Right.
Those soundtracks are designed to invoke particular emotions, whether they rile you up, get you angry, or get you feeling the sadness, or
build tension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like to, emphasize levity or like playfulness or something, like a joke's coming, or, it's just interesting how, like audio, like music can just sort of accentuate a moment, or, it can be, completely become the moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether there's anything else happening or not, you know what I mean? Even like that, I mentioned Melancholia. The music in that film is just so brilliant. It's overwhelming sometimes,
And there's guys like Tarantino who bring in like non-classical music score.
Yeah, that's part of it too, for sure. Like I remember, I don't know if I've read this or I saw in like an interview or whatever talking about Tarantino's wanted to, in the scene where Butch comes down and rescues Marcellus Wallace with the samurai sword, where Zed's down there and the gimp and all that, the music that they used like in the actual movie was like what is it, that surf song, they used that sort of theme song, I guess. Like I forget the name of the song offhand.
Was Urge Overkill?
Could be. Anyways, yeah. But he said in the interview, he's like, he wanted to use My Sharona originally for that scene. And I guess like for whatever reason, they couldn't get the rights to the song, so they ended up going with that song. His rationale for using My Sharona, or wanting to use My Sharona, was like, that is what, for, without getting too crude, like for that scene, he's like, that's, that was the music that popped into his head for that, for whatever reason. And I thought that was so crazy, and it would have definitely, like it would have definitely changed the complexion of that scene.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
To have that in there, but I don't know. Yeah, that's just an example of, if you were to like, you could probably do that literally with any scene in any movie. Just swap out the music for something else, and now all of a sudden the color of the scene has changed drastically.
Oh yeah, so. I love sometimes on YouTube there's some great examples of that. Someone just changes like a crazy scene, and all of a sudden a serial killer becomes a long lost lover with a the change of a tune in the background.
Or Mrs. Doubtfire is now like, it's a psychological thriller.
Oh my god.
Music is probably one of the most powerful things, arts-wise, I think, in the world. Others obviously would disagree, but
it's up there.
Yeah.
Music and math are the big ones.
Yeah.
and I suck at math, so there you go.
Soul expressions. New year, new me. Yeah. I think about my life like I'm watching from a bird's eye view, and stay precise as a hawk in the words I choose. Too smooth, yo DK, prepare the loop. No plan B, you never see me in a parachute. Incomparable dialect of a pharaoh. Kids try to triangulate my type of tarot. Arrows fly off tags from the fortune teller. Fortunately kicking more flavor than some mortadella. The construct's deep, you can peep the scripture. Well-kept secrets seeping through the whispers. Gifted lines permeate through lifted designs. Gliding like a missile in flight. Aight, let's get it. People wanna pilot the Zeppelin without the comprehension of where it's headed. I understand that they want what's ours, but before you qualified, you gotta clock those hours. Cause you gotta have the ethic if you wanna have the skills. You ought to have the presence if you wanna make them feel. It pays to have patience if you wanna pay the bills. And you're gonna be waiting for a while till it's real. But I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection in the sky. I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection in the sky. I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection in the sky. I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection. The world is a canvas and my music's a brush. Watch how it dances, drizzles on the map, splatters. Texture resembles architecture in the text, injected with intellect, elegant sex. Passport tatted up, dashboard lavender. You know we splashing in the cash flow added up. Females feedback, feeling fabulous. Think of all the energy you wasted being mad at us. Attitudes like a latitude, step to the side. Either that or come along for the ride. And people underestimate a song full of rhymes till the words manifest into a part of their lives. So choose wisely. I cruise highly above islands beyond where your eyes see. I understand that you want what's ours, but before you qualified, you gotta clock those hours. Cause you gotta have the ethic if you wanna have the skills. You ought to have the patience if you wanna make them feel. It pays to have patience if you wanna pay the bills. And you're gonna be waiting for a while till it's real. But I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection in the sky. I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection in the sky. I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection in the sky. I fly, we fly, and they fly. I looked up and saw my reflection.
What's on your playlist right now?
It's kind of all over the place. I got like everything from like the Cranberries to like Rock Marciano, Stereo Lab, Underworld, all types of shit, really. All over the place, just ideas, stuff, ideas, and just things I find are interesting and cool. I found some cassettes when I was in Montreal that I was pretty excited about. Cassette singles. It'd be like A side is, like the one version, and the remix, or you have like the A side, B side. They're kind of like vinyl singles, yeah, like on tape. I found a few of them, like L Cool J. I'm that type of guy. Salt and Pepper, Let's Talk About Sex remix.
Crazy.
And I found MCJ and Cool G. So listen.
Sweet.
So that's cool. Yeah, those are the OGs, the Halifax OGs, MCJ and Cool G. So yeah, that was pretty cool find recently. But yeah, my playlist is all over the place. DK, what about you? What are you listening to?
Man, I'm listening to love library music. Yeah. One of my favorites is going back to soundtracks and that type of thing is Shaft.
Oh,
it's great. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack.
What else? Yeah, it's great. So Uncle Fester, myself, and Justo the MC actually released a project today on all streaming platforms. It's called Where There's Smoke. So that's obviously on my playlist, so I have to plug that. What else is on my playlist? Just like a lot of jazz, like Lonnie Smith, for example, John Clemmer, Donald Byrd, all that kind of stuff, for the most part.
You mentioning that kind of makes me think that obviously some of what you're listening to is reflected in your beats. So there's a lot of like, and I know I've told you this before, like some of your stuff reminds me of like old school, like Tribe Called Quest kind of stuff, but pulling a little more from some jazz influences, at least on Soul Expressions, and a little bit on Listen to the Masters as well. Like, am I right there, or am I?
Yeah, I mean, I use I use jazz as basically just a starting point. Like, I kind of, like, a lot of people are just like, ask what kind of rap I'm listening to. It's like, well, yeah, I do listen to some current stuff like Rock Marciano, which Sock just alluded to. But yeah, generally speaking, I just kind of go listen and then just try to use that for inspiration, and put my own like style to it. Yeah, like obviously A Tribe Called Quest is on my playlist as well, but bring my own style to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good, but it's got that old school kind of sound to it, and I dig that a lot.
Good old jazz.
It took me a while to like jazz myself. Like when I was younger, I kind of liked it because it was obscure, not because I liked it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I was the same way. I think like over time, I think just after collecting and listening so much, I've just grew to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And now I actually just genuinely like just putting it on, just listen to, like not even looking for sample.
But I mean, that's inadvertently gonna give you some tastes there.
Oh, for sure.
Is there anything that you guys wanted to shout out or plug or anything at all?
Shout out to Tachichi and Lavender. They got their new projects coming out soon called Found Money. Shout out to Aquaculture, who's working on a musical. Yeah, with what is it? 2B Theater, I believe, is what the production company is called. So they're doing the Aquaculture project. So that's pretty cool stuff. Like him and his band, they're going to be doing this touring theater thing, which is kind of cool, I believe. I want to shout out Andre Fenton, a buddy of mine who I guess he's got one of his books. He's a young author based in Halifax who just got one of his books has been greenlit to get a movie made out of it. So, and I think that Corey Bowles might have something to do with that as well. So shout outs. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm even supposed to be talking about this stuff. But here I am. This is what you get. You asked me to come on a podcast, and I just ruin everybody's day. trying to do the right thing, trying to be good. But,
you know, it's the intent. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's right.
DK, any shouts out you got going on? Or anything?
I just want to shout out all the DJs that have been supporting our projects and everything I've been a part of and has released, and also just want to shout out the city of St. John as well, seeing that we'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, they'll probably hear this podcast after we've already come through and wrecked everything.
Yeah, well,
thanks for coming to the show, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you weren't there, then that's on you.
You missed out.
Yeah, and I'll play an exclusive track as well, featuring Ghettosocks, Socrates, and our man Cesar Comanche from North Carolina. So be there for that.
Oh, sick! That'd be awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Special treats.
Exactly.
Sick, guys. Well, thank you for taking some time, and I know it's a little bit hectic the night before you're hitting the road to come to town here, but I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having us, buddy.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you.
Sky's colored charcoal gray. I'm standing in a tracksuit, pink lemonade. Feeling like a champion, the past in my wake. The future's like the sun trying to shine through the shade. My spine is a snake, hands are tarantulas climbing on the curves of a dancer. Leo and Cancer, legs of an ostrich running through the cipher like a mosh pit. Permafrost on the top lip, thoughts is aquatic. Arch over topics like a drawbridge. Skeletons in the closet. This shit I conjure's the missing link, and have your missus flipping out like a fish with wings. And just to think, kids in the distance are singing a song not far from a river of prawns, and every moment is delivered and gone. That's why my mission is to witness all this vividness and bring it to y'all like that.
My soul, hold up a bit, I'm feeling old.
Reach for the stars and go for the gusto.
All into this to reach my goal.
Never let nobody say what you can and can't do.
Hold up a bit, I'm feeling old.
If you love it, then dub it. It's part of your life struggles.
All into this, you can see my soul.
Yeah, socializing. Enveloping thoughts that's tantalizing. My conversational mouthpiece relays different. Today's listeners don't know what they missing. But in due time, I'm hoping some mature enough to open up space for growth. 20-some odd years ago, I made an oath. Many hide behind a mask instead of following the path of their own. Many become accustomed to putting up a front till time reveals shade behind your ways. True, hidden truth and lies told cannot betray those in the know. The flow is all in, and this is how old goes. From my mouth to God's ears till the day Allah appears at the crossroad to greet my soul. So at the very least, for those who gone through it in the past, life's full of tests and exams. I'm all in.
Hold up a bit, I'm feeling old.
Reach for the stars and go for the gusto.
All into this to reach my goal.
Never let nobody say what you can and can't do.
Hold up a bit, I'm feeling old.
If you love it, then dub it. It's part of your life struggles.
All into this, you can see my soul. my soul. Yeah, stretching, best in profession, lurking in the overlooked section. Crescent, moon hanging over my head like past due bills. Procrastinate whatever bound to grab you thrills. 2 pills to combat the migraine coming, cause I'm buzzing when I overload my brain. With all the gotta do's, marking off my got dones. Stay in tune with my top guns. Torch like commission, we not once came whack or half step, but slept on to the point of getting half checks. But the love go beyond the dough. It's only one thing, but if I'm to be honest though, we need it. When you put all of your alls into this, blood, sweat, plus the tears till you ball in your fist. You wanna know that the love is reciprocal. Whatever the case, we strive even when it's difficult. Word up. Hold up a bit, I'm feeling old.
Reach for the stars and go for the gusto.
All into this to reach my goal.
Never let nobody say what you can or can't do.
Hold up a bit, I'm feeling old.
If you love it, then dub it. It's part of your life struggles.
All into this, you can see my soul, my soul.
You're currently listening to the Pagan Place podcast. If you like what you hear, you can find us at anchor.fm/The Pagan Place, or stream each new episode wherever you get your podcast.